Traditionally in the lakes of Minnesota, live bait rigging has kind of been the staple with leeches, crawlers, and even minnows. You know, and that's traditionally been going slow.
You know, efficiency is the name of the game. And I guess being tournament fishermen, we're always looking for that. How do you put more fish in the boat at the end of the day? We want to show you power fishing these lakes, moving faster, covering water more efficiently, hitting more spots. So come join us and we'll get the next bite.
Just looking for the next bite, next bite, next bite, next bite. Just looking for the next bite.
When it comes to tournament fishing for walleyes, time is money.
Some of these fish are so skinny out here, and then you get one like this, it looks like he's been eating everything.
A lot of bugs hatching, a lot of crayfish in the system we've been seeing.
Yeah, I don't know the slot, if it's good or bad. You know, there's a lot of controversy, but you can't argue that Leech Lake has come back in a big way, you know, for whatever reason.
And although most may not realize it, not only does every minute count, but to professional tournament champions Gary Parsons and Korey Sprengel.
God, do they bite like Gary.
Oh yeah, on the calm days it really seems like they do.
Every second matters as they balance navigating water with tactical decisions in both presentation and technique.
So you just thumped it, huh?
Yeah, he really did. I mean, that one almost felt like a jig bite. It just felt dunk.
Even on a monster northern inland lake like Leech Lake, which features over 195 miles of shoreline and thousands of acres of viable water.
What we're doing out here today on Leech Lake is a pretty typical summertime pattern. We're keying in on main lake points and deep rock humps. But what we're really trying to do is find those specific isolated areas using our Lowrance electronics, trying to find that rock sand transition or even those isolated boulder piles that are on these, you know, relatively large points or humps. Those transition lines are very key highways that these fish use as they run up and down the break line and when they're feeding. So we want to keep our bottom bouncers in that specific area. So do a little bit of homework before you wet a line to make sure that you're fishing very efficiently on these big pieces of structure.
Fast-changing, inclement weather is a fact of fishing any large system, but like any other governing conditions of a bite.
3-foot waves rolling in here.
That just means taking a step back and fishing the current situation for what it is.
He's fighting ya.
Yeah, raindrops. This is what it's all about. Man, I can't move this fish. They sure fight hard, don't they?
Oh, he's got to be a good one.
Ready?
Yep.
Come on. Yeah.
There's a good one. Yeah.
Little drama going on there with the reward.
He fought you.
Oh yeah, man, he was fighting. I was bouncing around enough. I didn't want to fall out of the boat. Let's see, yeah, I got it. Pliers. Let's get that crawler out of the way. There he goes. Little piece of tissue there that was giving me trouble trying to get the hook out of it.
Hey, he looked like he wanted that.
Oh yeah, he did. He wanted that one. Cool. One of the things that I really like about using bottom bouncers and super depth as compared to rigging, and that, believe me, I like rigging too, but one of the things I really like is that it's a lot easier to fish in rough water with big waves like this. It doesn't really matter if you start moving too fast from the waves. You know, you can fish this technique up to 1.2 miles an hour, whereas rigging is normally a lot slower. And in waves like this, it's hard to feel a rig bite. With a bouncer, they usually just glom right on. So the one thing that you can keep in mind if you like fishing these lakes, go ahead and speed around the structure with bouncers instead of rigs. Oh yeah, that looks like good fish. Oh yeah, that's a nice one, Corey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good fish. Woo! He bite hard?
Just thumped it.
He did, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, that's a pretty nice rod to break.
Look right in the corner. Look at how healthy these fish
These things
are.
are really putting on some weight. Even, you know, we came, about 2 weeks ago and
Yep.
stuff for pre-fishing. They were seemed a lot skinnier then than they are now.
Yeah, exactly. Shallower and skinnier.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury, #1 on the water. Amsoil, performance for serious adventure. Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Berkley, catch more fish. And Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. Closed captioning for the next bite is provided by Power Pole, the ultimate in shallow water anchors.
There he is.
Got him?
Yeah, he's a pretty decent fish.
Burning bottom bouncers up to 1.2 miles per hour with crawlers using a specially bent hook known as Super Death, a version of Slow Death, but for spinning full-length crawlers.
Through him. Yeah, he feels decent. We'll put her in anchor so we quit drifting so darn fast.
Has Gary and Korey emulating how they cover the most water possible in search of walleyes, as if they were pre-fishing or even fishing for a tournament.
We're fishing very efficiently with these bouncers and super death hooks, but there's another way to fish efficient. One of it's in boat control. In the past, in fact, pretty much my whole fishing career, I would work these break lines and sharp drop-offs, but whenever you're in a big wind like we are this morning, basically you end up fighting the fish and you look down at your depth finder and you're way off the structure. So you gotta take the time, start up the big engine, go back and get back on structure and start fishing again. The cool thing is with the XI5 that I'm using right now, the Motor Guide trolling motor, when I hook a fish, I can just reach down and hit anchor with my foot and we don't move. We just sit there still, fight the fish, take your time, and as soon as you step back on that trolling motor, you're ready to rock. You're right in the perfect position. You've never left that brake line, making your fishing day go that much smoother.
There's one.
You got one, Corey?
Yep.
How's he feel?
He's not bad.
Right.
Oh yeah, he's a nice one.
I will get the net.
Yeah, he's a real good one, Gary.
Yeah, good.
You feel that tap, tap, tap. You just never know what you're gonna have. If it's a little one, if it's a big one. Oh, this one's giving me the business.
The boat's an anchor, Corey. The prop's still spinning.
All right, there's a bouncer.
Oh, geez, Corey. Buddy.
Wow.
There's a pig. All right, man.
That one fought.
Oh, just had to grab you and hold on to you so you didn't go in.
He was making such long runs. I had to cushion it with, bending the knees a little bit. Just one of those things, you just feel that tap, tap, and you just don't know if it's a 14-incher, if it's one of these beautiful fish. You just never know what you're gonna get on the end of that line.
The Real Deal, real fishing information from real fishing experts, presented by Amsoil.
So one of the cool things about what I get to do is a lot of times I get to see equipment or technology that is actually so new that nobody else has seen it or it isn't on the market yet. And 3D structure scan by Lowrance is one of those things that I was just so excited to see. I had to get out here even though it's almost winter out. A conventional sonar, shoot a cone down there. It's kind of showing a little bit off to the side. It's hitting the target, whether that's the bottom or the fish, a lot more times, so it shows you a more precise picture. But what this structure scan is doing is cutting a thin slice, and then the 3D technology keeps track of all that data and draws you a picture on the screen. One of the most important skills that you can develop as an angler is being able to visualize what's happening below the water. It's just showing, almost like if you look at Lowrance's conventional side scan, it's showing that kind of a view down there off to the side. Now, remember though, that this isn't trying to replace side scan or structure scan. This is showing you the whole structure, like the big picture. So what I want to do is, instead of looking down on it like regular structure scan, what I want to do is simply use my finger and roll this up to this cool back view here. And this is really what I like to use the most about in 3D structure scan. I can actually see what's going on there. Am I on a big flat? Or maybe I'm on a piece of structure where I can see that shallow to deep. I can see how fast the break is moving down. Is it a gradual break or is it real shallow, you know, a slow break, things like that. The other thing it does is it shows way off to the side. If you get out a little bit deeper, I've seen where it's shooting a whole football field worth of data all on the screen at one time. Now, if you want to look at different views of what's going on down here, again, just using your finger, you can go all the way over to the side here, kind of see where the lips are in relation to your boat and to the bottom, things like that. But again, I just love this back view here because it's going to give you more information. It's going to help you visualize what's going on down below the water, and I guarantee you it's going to help you find more fish.
Using your electronics on big bodies of water is very important. It's one of those things that keeps you fishing very efficiently because there's so much structure out here, there's so much water to cover, it can become overwhelming. And one of the most important things to me for finding structure that I'm fishing is to use my structure scan. On the left side I have my side scan, and I have down scan set up right next to it, so I have the best, cleanest picture that I can have. And right next to that on this unit, I have my mapping, my lake charts. Right next to that, I have my traditional sonar that gives me a big picture of what's going on. It can be overwhelming on a big hump, a big point, just to run the whole thing. You never really know where the fish are. Well, what I like to do is, you can see here on this side scan shot, I have a great transition line from mud to the sand. The mud line is the darker line, the softer echo. You know, this lighter, whiter color is a little bit harder sand. And as you can see off to my right-hand side, I have some big boulder piles, these darker spots. And I can see right about here, there's a big ridge. I have a big shadow right behind this high spot. And what I like to do to really map this out so I know what's there when I'm fishing is just simply by clicking and dropping a waypoint. It's a rock pile. I use the rock icon, keeps it simple, so I go back, I already know what it is. If I mark fish, I'll use a fish waypoint. But now I can map out this hump that we're fishing here today, so that way when I come through with my bottom bouncers fishing slower, I can stay on top of the structure, keeping my baits in the strike zone longer and putting more fish in the boat at the end of the day.
It feels pretty heavy. Put it anchor right away.
There's a bouncer.
There's a bouncer. Oh, this is a good fish. Wow, look at this one, Corey. Woo, come on, get out of there. Yeah. Wow, he's huge, Corey. Holy man, look at that. He might be over the slot. Why don't you go get a ruler quick, we'll check.
All right.
Let's see what we got here. Oh man, he's 27. He's easily over.
Beautiful fish.
Yeah. You know, we just get done fishing a tournament here where you just hope and you pray to get a fish like this. Today, when the money's not on the line and we're just having fun, it comes pretty easy, it seems. It's really weird. This is the basic setup. I'm using a 7-foot bouncer rod, nice soft tip, but good backbone for the hook set, coupled with a nice small bait caster. Overall, this is a very lightweight setup, so you can hold it in your hand all day. Normally, when you're going to use super depth, you're going to be fishing in depths anywhere from 10 down to 30 feet. Bread and butter bottom bouncers will be 1, 1.5, and 2, but probably 80% of your use will be a 1.5 ounce bottom bouncer. I like to use 100% fluorocarbon Snell. Normally when I measure it out, I go an arm's distance away like this. So you tie it one end right to the bouncer, and then the other end to the business end of the whole setup, and that's the Super Death hook. Super Death hook was designed to spin plastics and full crawlers. So it's a much more aggressive bend. The way that you hook your crawler up, all you really do is hook it through the nose just like Slow Death. You run it up the center of the crawler. You come out about 1/4 of an inch below the band, and then you string the crawler right over your knot. In the water, this will spin the whole crawler. A lot of places that we fish, you can actually use gulp and catch quite a few fish. The gulp tail that's most popular now is a 4-inch gulp crawler, and they come in various colors. This one's a pumpkin seed, so it looks just like a real crawler. But you do the same thing. You end up threading it right on through the center of the crawler, keep going all the way up through the crawler so the head of the crawler is over that knot. And one of the key things is when you're done here, you want that tail to be sitting out at about a 45-degree angle. This will spin very, very effectively, and it's deadly also on walleyes. So those are the setups. Troll them anywhere from a ½ mile an hour to about 1.2 miles an hour. Use your trolling motor and hang on, because you're going to catch a lot of fish.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury, #1 on the water. Amsoil, performance for serious adventure. Tracker boats, fish the finest. Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Berkley, catch more fish. Mustad, stay sharper longer. Lowrance, find, navigate, dominate. Motor Guide trolling motors engineered for anglers. Strike King, legacy of domination for 50 years. And Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. Hot topics, leading information, and tackle and techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
There's a lot of positives to repowering your current fishing boat with a brand new Mercury outboard, whether it's 2 strokes or 4 strokes. And the main key there is performance, making your hull perform as good as possible. Obviously, the newer motors perform better when it comes to low-end torque, top-end speed, fuel economy. And what I will tell you is pay attention when you're repowering that boat to your maximum horsepower rating. Typically, when I'm fishing, I have 2, 3, 4 people in the boat, a bunch of fishing equipment. So I want to stay very close to that max horsepower rating with the new engine that I'm looking at putting on my boat, for the simple sake that it's going to be able to plane out easier, and then also when the weather kicks up, I'm going to be able to get to the next spot or even get back in safe. So very important there. Performance is so key, but peace of mind is also something that you get with putting a new Mercury outboard on your boat. I'm talking about the warranty programs. They're usually standard with 3 years on the 2 strokes and 4 strokes. Basically, you can get extended warranties all the way out to 5 if you buy them at the right times of years. If you are looking at selling that boat down the road and maybe upgrading to a bigger one, if you can figure out a way to make that hull perform better, and maybe that's putting a Verado on the boat with electro-hydraulic steering and a digital throttle. Basically, it gets up on plane real quick, everything's at the touch of a finger, makes your boat handle better. You're gonna get better resale out of that hull than obviously what you would with something that doesn't perform as well, because people like to drive boats before they buy them. So it's a great reason to go out to a dealer and check out all the Mercury outboards to repower your current fishing boat with for the next season.
Championship competition fishing secrets don't have to be complicated or even secret. Success on the water is about making the most out of your time on water, given the hand that you are dealt.
Come on,
Lift
baby.
them up.
Oh, there's a fatty, huh?
Another nice fish.
Yeah.
Taking into consideration the high winds and rough water, Gary and Korey have chosen bottom bouncers, spinning full-size crawlers on super death hooks to keep the presentation simple, yet as effective as traditional rigging.
This hook has kind of opened up a whole new world for me. I bottom bouncer fish for 20 years and slow death probably for 10, but this super death hook with allowing you to use that full crawler, there is nothing better than just going back and then crushing them. You know, it's awesome.
By exploring structure and substructures using a combination of all of their electronic screens, marking new schools of walleyes became almost simultaneous with catching them, all while learning new water.
Oh yeah.
Was he good fish?
Yeah, you're gonna want the net.
I got one too.
You got him?
Yeah, he just bit right when I asked you about the net.
How does yours feel?
Mine's not giant, but
This is a good one, Gary.
yeah, I'll work back and get the net. It's decent, but it's not
Yeah,
real big.
Definitely need the net for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yep. You ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me just grab it here. Here's one. Yeah. Pretty awesome. Mine actually might be a big slot.
Told you to get the net.
Yours is bigger than mine.
Yeah, mine's just over that slot.
Yeah, this might be a 19-incher actually. This is pretty cool. That was awesome.
We kept marking those fish on that little point, where that little rock pile was, and finally went through there and double. Get these babies back.
Oh, that was neat. You had the bite and set the hook, and I was looking around to see if you're going to need the net, and all of a sudden I feel doink. So I just set the hook too.
That was cool. We've been marking a lot of fish on that point, and it was really cool to get a double. We kept marking them in pairs.
Yeah. This has been an awesome, awesome time up here at Leech Lake. And Korey and I have done just about everything here. We're catching fish fast. We moved around to a lot of spots. We got some big walleyes and ended up with a double like that, which is a lot of fun. Made me run around with the net, and I almost started losing my breath.
You're not that old, are you?
This of this show is I sound like I'm Norwegian.
We got fish all over. We got blobs and blips and
So pretty. Any other person would have caught you, you'd have been a sandwich. Mean. You're mean. I leave you go and you cut me. I should have made him a sandwich. Next time I might.
quite frankly, There we go.
Let me start that over. One more time. Tronics, I'm trying one more time.
Bait cast. Try it again. Okay.
The Next Bite would like to thank Hiawatha Beach Resort, located on the north shore of Leech Lake Steamboat Bay. For more information on Hiawatha Beach Resort, visit www.hiawathabeach.com.